Hi, and thanks for choosing Planet Rentals. Today we're going to train on our laser tag equipment. We're super excited to have this in our lineup of items to rent, and we're sure you're going to love it as well. Now all 12 guns come wrapped up here in this mobile caddy. It's nice for transportation. On the other side there's a cord to charge all 12 guns at once, and this is what we'll keep it and store it in for you for your rental. When I open it up here, you'll see up here on the top is the laptop bag that we keep the scorekeeping computer in. We just wanted to draw your attention to that, and then all 12 guns are stored down in here. Now, because of the short charging cables and the cables in general, we ask that only adults pull the guns in and out of the mobile caddy. Again, the batteries last for a good amount of time, so there shouldn't be a lot of in and out, but we do ask that the adults do the unplugging and plugging in here. So you can see that each gun has a headband, and when we put it away in the mobile caddy, we tuck the headband down into its space, and then you can just set the gun down in there and plug it in to turn it off. Now here in the top pocket of the laptop bag is of course the laptop, and then a charging cord for the laptop. In the front pocket we have just a mouse to help with the usability of the laptop. And then this is a USB port plug-in data connector. So this is going to transmit all of the data back and forth between the guns about hits and lives and the custom game settings that you set up for each game. So you want to make sure that you have this plugged into the laptop or it won't work. But we do ask that you kind of put everything back in its assigned pocket, keep the cords wrapped up nice, and keep the equipment in good condition. All right, I've gotten out a couple guns here for our demonstration, and I just want to show you the headband. So the back of the headband is where the cord comes out, and at the front of the headband is this Velcro strap you'd use to adjust the size. I've found it's easiest to put it on someone's head, and if it's too tight or too large, just mark it with your thumb and unvelcro it, and then make your adjustment there. You know, and sometimes you need to adjust it 2 or 3 times. But as you make that adjustment and re-velcro it, and then just fit it on their head. All right, so I put on the headband here, and I wanted to point out that here in the middle of the cord is a zip-tied loop. And we do this to manage the length of the cord. We don't want the cord too long so that it's tripped over or caught on different items. And of course we don't want it too short so that it's uncomfortable to use the gun. So you have the user hold the gun out at full length, and then just adjust that loop, bigger or smaller, to make it the right length. Now the gun can be hit in several different locations. Of course on your head sensors here, and there's one in the back. And then the gun itself can take damage on either side or down the barrel. So this is, in my opinion, much better than vest because you can't peek out around corners and shoot without getting hit on your vest. You have to peek out with your head and your gun, and so it's great at user experience. So now we'll demonstrate the computer work that goes into setting up a game and launching a game. First, when you turn on the computer, it'll come to a login screen here. On the laptop is a little sticky note that reminds you of the password, but it's just Planet Rentals, lowercase and all together. So PLANITRENTALS. You push enter. Now to launch the game, it's actually a web browser. And so you're going to see it comes up with no internet connection. You'll want to make sure you connect it to Wi-Fi. You can use this offline or online. So you can go to a remote site without internet connection, but you want to make sure you put it in offline mode first. And to check that it's in offline mode first, you'll need to connect it to the internet and check that particular setting. And I'll show you how to do that here in a second. But you'll see that when I logged into the computer, it automatically launched a web browser. Now if that doesn't launch or you somehow accidentally close out of it, you can see the web address, which is also sticky noted onto the laptop here. You go to planetrentals.lasertagscores.com, and that will get you here to this screen. Now I want to note that players in the middle of their games or after your games are over can come and get real-time live updated scores for each of the games they've played. So they can on a smartphone or on their computer go to planetrentals.lasertagscores.com and click on games, and it will show them all the recent games that have been played, and it'll show the scoring. You can click into each different game for more details. Now I want to show you that now because this is how the planetrentals.lasertagscores looks like when you're not logged in. You can see there's a sign in button over here. Now we don't want people at home logging in. They can't run games because they don't have the data controller plugged into the USB port anyway. But when they go to planetrentals.lasertagscores.com, this is the screen they'll see. Now the laptop generally auto logs you in to the administrator part, which I'll show you here. But if it's not logged in, you can just click the sign in link, and then it again populates the credentials, and then click sign in. Okay, so now that we're logged in as the administrator, you can see that we have different icons where we can set up gear and change some other settings. We ask that you still don't use these two different icons. We have the guns set up like they need to be set up and all the other settings. The only thing you'll need to do is inside the games icon here. So once you click here, it's going to check that you have your USB data controller plugged in, and then it's going to allow you to again view the games that have been played before or start a new game. Now I told you about going offline or going online a little bit earlier. If you know you're going to a site without an internet connection, before you go you'll still want to get the laptop connected to the internet, log in here, and you can see this go offline button. Once you click this, then you don't need an internet connection to go to planetrentals.lasertagscores.com. It hosts it locally on the computer. You can go there, set up new games, do everything you need to. When you're done with being off-site, you can come back and connect it to the internet, and it'll upload all the games onto the internet so people can see their scores if they want to after they've gone home. Now, of course, after each game, it's very common that all the players come and huddle around the computer and look at their scores for that particular game. So, of course, the computer is always going to show the scores there locally as well. All right, so I want to show you what this game presets is here. Now, when you go to set up a game, you can designate all of the different guns to be on different teams or the same team, all of your different settings. And then, so you don't have to set that up between every game, you can save it as a preset. So we've created some presets we see people use all the time. When we say odds versus evens, the guns are numbered 1 through 12, so you can play all the odd numbers against the even numbers just by clicking this and then hitting start. It's a quick way to get into a game. But you can create your own presets as well, so that if your players have a team that they want to be on every time, you can just relaunch that exact same game. So this little top section here is where the game presets are. The bottom section are the games that have been played. And then you'll see when we start a new game, it puts it here in the middle between the two. Now here on the right hand side, you can delete out the data from the games that have been played, and you can delete those presets. We ask you don't delete the ones we've preset, but just wanted to point that all out. Now I'm going to create and set up a new game. So I go up here and click New Game. Now here we have a bunch of different settings. The first is which type of game do you want to play. Now we have a little instruction sheet that goes with the laptop that will tell you kind of what each different game is and how the scoring works on those games. The most popular is team elimination. That means that players are put on 2 different teams, and as you run out of lives, you're eliminated from the game. So the last team standing or the last person alive wins. You have immortal teams, which just means you split into 2 teams. Nobody ever dies. You just shoot back and forth to see who gets the most points. You have free-for-all, which is very common. They have lives. You go out when you're dead, but it's everybody against everybody. Or you can have everybody against everybody without running out of lives under Immortal Arena. Now, I'm not going to explain every game. You can go again to our instruction sheet and learn about the different games, but those are kind of the most common ones. For our demonstration purposes, I'm going to select Team Elimination. Now, under Name, this is where you can name it as a preset. So I'm going to name it Preset 1. Now we have a pregame time. This is how long until the game starts. So once I click Start on the laptop, the guns will start counting down this amount of time until the actual game starts. This gives you time for the players to scatter to where they want to be, to go to their own side of the battlefield or whatever. You can set it as 1 minute. It's probably the most common, but for our purposes, because I want to show you the guns and how they work, I'm going to do no pregame delay. So the second that I press Start on the laptop, it will start on the guns. Here you can set how long the game runs for in minutes. So currently it will run for 20 minutes. How many teams? We're going to do 2 teams. I'll just set up 2 guns. Now there's an indoor and outdoor setting. If you're going to play outdoors, you can of course leave this unchecked, or indoors you can check it. This cuts down some of the beam power on the guns. Now I've found that the guns have incredible range and incredible power, and even playing outdoors, I normally check the indoor setting. It just helps so that the beams aren't bouncing off walls or mirrors or windows, that sort of thing, and I've never had a limitation in the distance they're shooting anyways. Now you can still choose indoor, outdoor. I prefer indoor. Now pacing, this is just a preset option. We'll show you a little bit more when you set up custom games. But this is kind of just how fast the guns shoot and how fast the guns take damage. So if you want someone to be hit really quickly, time after time after time, you can hit it to, or set it to fast. Otherwise, you can set it to slow. When you set it to slow, your firing rate's just a little bit slower and they can't take hits quite as quick. These other two, we don't have bases or targets, so these other two options are just kind of irrelevant. Now we have our two teams. I'm going to set up a green team and a blue team with the guns that I got out and ready, which is gun 2. You can see I can click it and drag it to the green team, and then gun 10. Okay, so now we've got this changed to yellow when I press the down arrow, but now we've got a green team and a blue team with gun 2 and gun 10. And you can see I can start the game here, or I can save it as a preset so I can quickly launch these exact same settings again in the future. Okay, so now we're going to launch the game with our two guns here by clicking the green Start Game button.
Time game has begun.
So the guns announce that the game has begun. You can see we've got a blue team number 10 and a green team number 2. Now, as I shoot the other player, you'll see that their headband lights up.
Nice shot.
Again, you can shoot him in the gun,
Nice shot.
down the barrel,
Nice shot.
or on any of the sensors there on the headband.
Nice shot.
Now the guns have a display. Whenever you're resting, it's going to show you the number of lives you have remaining. Now, as I shoot my gun, it's going to show the number of bullets I have remaining. This is important for games that have limited bullets. Now in this particular game, we have unlimited bullets. I can hit reload, and it gives me back a full clip of 30 gun bullets. So now as I shoot and we play back and forth, we can take damage, and then the laptop there will keep score, showing who's hit who and the points that are accrued for hitting those players. So now as I continue to shoot this green number 2 gun and he goes out, we wanted to show you what that looks like. So it instructs the player to return to base and that their gun's powered down. Now because that player's out, of course, he's not able to shoot or participate in the game any longer. Now not every game has to eliminate a player, so it just depends on which different game you choose. But we wanted to demonstrate what that looks like there. Now we ask again and encourage you to please take care of our equipment. We always set the rule that if a kid or player drops a gun, they have to sit out one round, just to help everybody remember to take care of this equipment. Again, we offer it at a great price, and we want to continue to do that for our renters. So we ask for your help and encourage you to really take care of the equipment while you're playing. Okay, so now as we go back to the computer, you can see here the active game that we're playing that I named Preset 1 and saved as a preset up here. This game is running, and you can tell it's running because there's a stop icon over here to end the game. And you can do that at any time. The players don't have to be all done. If you need to stop it for one reason or another, you can just hit stop and it will direct each gun to return to base. Now you can see here that it's kept score. I've hit the green team a few times and gotten some points here. And you can click into the game to get some further information. So you can see number 10 has hit number 2 6 times. And again, here's another little stop game button. You can see it's counting right now down to when the 20 minutes will expire on this game. So I'm going to go ahead and end the game, and you'll hear what the guns do.
The game has ended. Return to base. The game has ended. Return to base.
Okay, so that game is over, and it's now declared a winner as the blue team and given them some additional points here. Now it's important before you launch another game that there's no games running here in the middle with a little stop button. Every game needs to be completed or the guns get confused about which game they're still in. So make sure all games are ended before you go and start a new game. Okay, now I'm going to go and show you about some of the custom games you can create. So go here to New Game, and under the Scenario drop-down is a Custom Game option, Custom Settings. Now you get a whole bunch of other settings that you can adjust for your particular game. Again, you can name it and save it as a preset. This is how long until the game starts once you click Start Game. This is how long the game runs, how many teams. Now you can have up to 4 teams. Indoor or outdoor setting like we've talked about. Now this is your starting lives and your magazine capacity. So how many bullets does each magazine hold? Now this is the firing rate. When I talked about having the pacing be fast or slow, this is one of those settings here that it adjusts automatically inside those preset games. But if you want your guns to fire very fast, like a machine gun, you can change them to 600 shots per minute. Or if you want players to only be able to shoot every couple seconds so that they don't pin someone in a corner and kill them really quick, you can set it down to 30 shots a minute. Now you have your reload time. This is how long from the time you click the reload button is the player ready to shoot again. Now there are some games like Civil War that utilize reloading a musket gun, so that the reload time is very long. And there are some different strategy games you can play that way. It kind of makes it interesting. You can change that setting up or down. Now the hit rate is how quickly a player can be hit over and over again. So again, if you're playing with machine guns and you want them to be hit as many times as you shoot, or you can slow it down so that they're only hit every couple seconds. Now, one of the things in custom settings, you can't change it to just one team. There's always going to be 2 teams, but if you want everybody to play against everybody, you can just go down here and uncheck the ignore friendly fire. Then it doesn't matter which team they're on, everybody's playing against everyone because friendly fire means you can hit your own teammates and the points accrue accordingly. Then you have, again, the 2 base and target, which are not items that are utilized in the kit that we rent out. So then you set up the teams again here with their designated color. And I also wanted to point out, if you want to add more than 1 player at a time, you can just click them repeatedly. So I just want to add these 4 players, and then you can drag and drop all 4 at one time over onto a designated team. So that concludes the training tutorial here on our laser tag equipment. Again, we are certain you're going to really enjoy it. It's great for adults, it's great for teenagers, great for kids. It's just a lot of fun indoors and outdoors. Our family personally loves to play it often. So we really hope you enjoy it. I again want to one last time encourage you to be super careful with the equipment. Please have an adult manage putting it in and out of the case. Please have an adult help put it on kids' heads and set different rules and things that you need to help make sure that the equipment's taken care of. Thanks again for choosing Planet Rentals.